So Ilia Topuria will be fighting Alexander Volkanovski on February 17th at UFC 298. But Ilia Topuria already has in his bio on Instagram that he's 15 and 0 and that he's the UFC world champion. I understand having like that winning mindset, having a championship mindset, and I do believe that he thinks he's going to beat Alexander Volkanovski, but he's acting like he's already beat Volk. I don't think that's a smart thing to do. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he believes he'll go in there and beat Volk, but to actually think this is going to be his easiest fight, like he's preparing that it's going to be the easiest fight of his life. He has his profile picture as him holding the belt. Like, he's already acting like he's the champ. And I get having like a mindset, you got to be a bit delusional, but this is like insane levels of delusion at this point. Because I feel like he's doing himself a disservice by thinking it's going to be so easy. Because if he goes in there against Volk, thinking it's going to be the easiest fight of his life, and Volk goes in there and pushes him hard, beats him up a little bit, he might break in there. Because his mindset for this fight truly does seem like he does genuinely believe this is going to be the easiest fight of his career. But we got to look at who Ilia Topuria has beat. He had a competitive fight with Yusuf Salah, but it was short notice, so nothing wrong with that. Damon Jackson, who is a very good fighter, but his chin isn't really that great. His chin, isn't the best, and Ilia Topuria went out there, ran through him. That was an easy fight. Beat Ryan Hall, who Ryan Hall's always been overrated. I never understood the dark horse of the division mindset. Uh, he's just unorthodox with his jiu-jitsu, goes for leg lock after leg lock, but he's not really the greatest. And Ilia Topuria went in there and smoked him. Jai Herbert, upper weight class, you got to respect it. It took guts to go up there and fight Jai Herbert, who was massive compared to Ilia Topuria. He did get dropped in that fight, but he recovered quickly. Beat Bryce Mitchell, but I think we're realizing Bryce Mitchell is a bit overrated. Like, he's a good grappler, but if you have good takedown defense and power, then you're probably going to beat Bryce Mitchell. And also to factor that in there, like Bryce Mitchell was landing some fucking shots on Ilia Topuria. I think he shut his eye in that fight. Like Bryce Mitchell is awful on the feet, so that was like really weird to see that he actually land some good shots on him because we haven't really seen him land any good shots on anybody, especially since then. Dan Ige, he didn't land any good shots there. Josh Emmett, he got fucking smoked. And then also, yeah, Ilia Topuria did beat Josh Emmett, which is a really good win, but Josh Emmett is so one-dimensional. Obviously, he's got that big overhand, powerful shot, and if it lands, he'll KO you, but if it doesn't, he sort of just gets teed off on and masterclassed. Like, he really does just have an overhand. But I do think Ilia Topuria is a tough matchup for Volk. Like, I think it's a tougher matchup than some of the other guys Volk has faced, just because they're both short, stocky guys. Like, when you're both short and very stocky, it's a lot harder for Volk than, fighting somebody who's taller, rangy, just because we've seen Volk get dropped by Chad Mendes, who's, sort of the same build as Volk. Ilia Topuria is similar build to Volk. I think he's like an inch or two taller, but, he's still a shorter guy, so I think that does help Ilia Topuria here. Easy to get shots off. But still, I think this is a good matchup for Volk. It's a tough one, but I think it is one where he can go in there and win. And for Ilia Topuria to be like going in there with the mindset that he's already won, he's overlooking Volk heavily. He's already talking about going in there and fighting Max Holloway in Spain. Like he's already talking about his next fight. You're fighting one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. I know Islam Makhachev went in there and chinned him on short notice, upper weight class, but that doesn't mean that you're immediately going to go in there and fucking KO him. I'm pretty sure Islam Makhachev is probably more powerful just because he's a bigger guy. He could make welterweight very comfortable. He wouldn't look out of place at welterweight. He'd look very comfortable at that weight class. Uh, while, Ilia Topuria is a former bantamweight. He did fight at lightweight, but he looked really undersized. But I don't know, Ilia Topuria, I just think this is going to backfire on him. When you go in there with a mindset, you're going to make someone look really easy, and that fight doesn't turn out to be as easy as you thought. It's so much easier to break someone. You always have to go on the mindset that your next fight is your toughest fight. It doesn't matter if you're fighting a fucking 0-12 bum or the best fighter in the world, you always got to have that mindset, because if you go in there underestimating someone, thinking it's going to be an easy fight, you're going to run through them, you're going to get into so many problems. Like if that fight doesn't turn out to be as easy, if Volk goes in there and drops Ilia Topuria, beats him up in the first round or something like that, chews up on his leg, Ilia Topuria went in there, no nerves or anything, gone in there thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna go in there and I'm gonna smoke this guy. If Islam Makhachev can go do it, I'll do it easy. Like it's just not gonna work. It just doesn't work that way. Just because you believe it doesn't mean you're really going to go in there and achieve that. Like to go in there and make it look easy against Volkanovski, a full camp Volk, a motivated Volk. It shouldn't be that easy. Maybe this is going to age badly for me. Maybe because Volk is really good, but he is coming off that KO to Islam Makhachev. Who knows how his chin's going to be? Maybe he can't recover as quickly now. Like who knows? There is a lot of factors that go into this, but I just think the leg kicks. I think stylistically, Volk just matches up so well with Ilia Topuria. He's got a longer reach. I feel like Ilia Topuria, when he fights at a higher pace, he has shown to not have the greatest cardio. So I can see that sort of backfiring here against Ilia Topuria, especially with him throwing these big shots. Like he might go out there and he might beat Volk. Don't get me wrong, that is a possibility. I'm open to that possibility. I don't think this is going to be like a fraud checking or anything like that. I think Ilia Topuria is an elite fighter, but I think Volk has been at the top. He's beat, the best guys. Ilia Topuria hasn't been there. He hasn't been in this sort of pressure before, and he's putting so much pressure on himself. Like I don't know. I don't know if he truly believes he's going to go in there and immediately smoke Volk because he keeps saying this is going to be the easiest fight of his career. Maybe he goes in there, has his Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo moment. Maybe that does happen, but I don't know. I just don't like this for him going in there and underestimating Volk to that extent. I've also seen him say that he's going to go in there and grapple heavy because if people don't know, he was originally a grappler. Like we just seen Volk in February, like survive against fucking Islam Makhachev on the ground, get up and Islam Makhachev much bigger than Ilia Topuria, probably a better wrestler overall, better sambo. Like I don't know. I think this is just weird. I think Ilia Topuria is really gonna. I think this is gonna bite him in the ass. I think he's gonna go in there heavily underestimating Volk, and I think when Volk goes in there, lands some big shots, really puts a pace on him. I think he's gonna wilt a little bit. I think Ilia Topuria mentally is a very strong fighter, but I don't know. This would be like fucking. What's a good example? This would be like I don't know. Imagine Jarlton Almeida going in there and heavily underestimating like Francis Ngannou, or imagine Cyril Gane if he went in there against Ngannou. Like this is going to be the easiest fight of his career. I'm just going to go in there, dance around him, and then he just got fucking clipped. Like I don't know. You always got to have the mindset that this is going to be your toughest fight. Maybe he doesn't truly believe this. Maybe he's just saying this so it'll look cool if he wins. But I don't know. I just don't rate it. I don't think this is gonna look really good for him. Like already having that you're 15 and 0 in your bio. Imagine the feeling of having to remove that from your bio if you lose. Like that would have to be the worst fucking feeling in the world. Like seriously, like you already have that you've got the win. It's just yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is gonna turn out really well for Elite Pura. Maybe I'm wrong. He could definitely go in there and win, but I don't know. Like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, I don't know. It could age. This could make him a massive star if he goes in there and makes this look as easy as he says. But I just don't see that happening. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll really see what happens. We got to wait till February. Not long to go. Ilia Topuria is already on his victory lap, wearing his belt, walking around like he's the champ. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Ilia Topuria does go on to win this, but I do think eventually Ilia Topuria will be champion, but this could really backfire for him if he goes in there and gets smoked. Then his mentality, he could be really he could go on a downfall. Like, we see a lot of these guys once they reach the championship level and they lose, they just go on a massive fall down. We see it with Darren Till. Like he was on top of the world and he gets put in there against Woodley. He's all confident. He thinks he's going to go in there and smoke him. Doesn't land a single punch. Gets absolutely smoked by Woodley, who then Woodley goes on to lose every fight after that. So maybe we see a similar scenario here. I don't know. I think it will be somewhat competitive, but I think in the later rounds, Volk will really just put a pace on him. But yeah, Ilia Topuria, he's doing himself a disservice here. I don't think it's going to help him by overlooking Volk. I think he needs to go in with a mentality that this is going to be a really tough fight. But, what do I know? I'm not the one going in there and fighting for the UFC Featherweight Championship. So, he could go in there, prove me wrong. So we'll see what happens. But thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Ilia Topuira completely overlooking Alexander Volkanovski. Do you think he truly believes this? Do you think this is actual delusion? Do you think this will benefit him? Or do you think this is going to really come back to bite him in the ass? So yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and put on them notifications. Share this video. I'll see you guys next time. So thank you for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Adios, amigos.